Welcome back, everyone, to ITTV, your number one spot for everything Arkham related as far as news. And we kind of got something Arkham related, but also more WB games sort of
Mhm.
focused. But before we get into the actual episode, though, we both wanted to just kind of take a second and talk about a legend in not only the acting space, but in the voice acting space that we
Yeah.
lost very recently, Mr.
Yeah.
Tony Todd.
Yeah.
Um,
He at the time of the recording, I think did he pass away today or
He
yesterday?
passed, at the time of this recording, which is the 9th of November. He passed away earlier in the evening.
Okay.
Reports came out. It was just all of a sudden, everybody was talking about it on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. Like it just blew up out of
Yeah.
nowhere. But for those of you who are not in the loop about Mr. Tony Todd, he has done a lot of roles over the years. He was the Candyman. He was in the Final Destination films, and
He was in Smallville.
he was in Smallville. Oh, yeah. But I think more people recently heard his voice in Marvel Spider-Man 2 as the
Yes.
voice of Venom. And as far as DC stuff, he's done over the years. He was Darkseid in the DeCamo movies. He was Zoom in the Flash. So he's done a lot of stuff over his time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I saw that report come out, and it just hit me because it's just like I love this
Yeah.
man. I would have loved to meet him at like a con or something, and it broke my heart. So
Yeah. I was out and about on the town, music stuff,
Mhm.
and I get this text from Marvel in a group chat we're in. It didn't say Tony Todd on the picture, but I'm like, that looks a lot like Tony Todd. So I clicked on it, said Tony Todd, and I was just heartbroken immediately.
Yeah.
And I was telling them in the group chat, like, literally yesterday with my brother, I was watching his episode of Smallville, and I was like, that is just tragic. Because we were talking about how much we loved him and how he was great in the episode and wished he came back, and we were talking about his other roles and stuff, and I was telling my brother Elijah, yeah, he's been in this, you would be surprised at how many things you've heard him in and you wouldn't know. And now he's not here anymore. It's terrible.
No. Yeah. So, of course, condolences to his family. We appreciate all the work he's done over the
Yeah.
years, and we felt it was necessary for us who are both huge fans of him to give him the proper kind of treatment and that he deserves. So
Yeah.
we
So rest
salute
in
you.
peace, Tony Todd.
Rest in peace. We salute you, good sir.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we'll put a damper on the downer, even though, it is definitely okay to feel sad about stuff like this, but there's a lot of news to get into, but we did want to acknowledge Tony Todd and his unfortunate passing. But
Yes.
on to the news at hand. As you guys know, we're an Arkham channel. Sometimes we stray a bit, but today, where this ITTV is very straightforward. Arkham Batman might not be so dead in the water as we thought. I mean, we did just get a VR game, and it's gotten great reviews. To my
Surprisingly, yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting the praise that I was getting. I mean, I assumed it
I
would
didn't think
at
it would be
least.
that high.
Yeah, I wasn't assuming it'd be at least better than Arkham VR for sure. But yeah, a lot of people have been gravitating towards it, and Camouflage, they really did their homework and put out a product that is well deserved within the Arkham series, I would say.
Yeah, and I'd say with Shadow coming out, this news makes even more sense. And I don't know who the outlet is. I think it might have been WB themselves, but that.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you
Get into it.
Yeah, get into it, because I'm not exactly sure where the source came from, if it was WB or it was some other source. Or
So this was partial. It's like partially rumored, also kind of like just so. Warner Brothers had a conference call recently, and David Zaslav was talking. The hack Zaslav,
yeah,
um, was talking about, well, firstly, he was talking about how much of a failure Suicide Squad and Multiverses have been. They've been underperforming. They have not been doing what WB had hoped as far as live service games. So Zaslav basically put his foot down and said, as far as WB Games is concerned, there are 4 major franchises that they're going to be focusing on. The first one was Harry Potter. The second one was Mortal Kombat. The third one, I have the article up, so I'll try and Game of Thrones was the third one, and the last one they said was DC, but in particular Batman.
Yeah.
So
I
that
mean,
is the 4 core franchises that they want to stick to as far as gaming is concerned.
so what got me confused is that this should have been the idea from the get-go. And I'm sure you would agree with me. Like, when there was never any money to be made in live service games except for Fortnite. Like,
Yeah,
I don't get why you wouldn't stick to the whole story-based Batman game, story-based Wonder. Like, I don't get why David Zaslav, because he's an idiot, obviously, but why this company would think now, after all this financial failure, that now is the time. Okay, we're gonna shift focus back to what made it good. It's like, uh, haven't the underperformances been overwhelming since the beginning of the year? And now you're talking about this?
yeah, like not even just with their properties. We've also seen with other, like Sony took a huge loss with Concord earlier this
Mm,
year. Like I think it was what, a couple days after it launched, they
yeah,
immediately like halted that project. They stopped it right in its tracks because they wanted it to be their big live service thing, and they knew right away it's just like it
not
didn't
happening.
work at all. So, um, yeah, some people have been saying that their intention is to kind of veer away from live service. Um, I don't know if that's going to be 100% the case or not,
Yeah,
but it feels like as far as like core franchises, I don't know. For the DC stuff, I'm a little like I'm happy, but I'm also a little worried. But we'll get into that. But yeah,
yeah,
I just kind of hope for future projects that they decide to like say like, hey, maybe this isn't working with keeping our fans engaged. Let's try and do like uh, an actual Mortal Kombat game with focus. Let's do a Batman game that's a single player. Like engrossive kind of thing. So,
right,
um, yeah, and even Arkham Shadow, for it being a VR game, like it's not really dependent on added content in the future. And
right.
so I mean, they have a post-launch stuff that they're doing, but it's more, it was a tight focused experience. So I'm hoping that's what WB kind of takes away from that. And I feel like with this news, because they say in particular Batman is going to be a major focus, and because the last time we did an ITTV, we talked about Rocksteady potentially doing another Arkham game. I feel like it's all but confirmed at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of basically they didn't need to tell us anything.
Yeah, we just know now that like, yeah, we're going to get another true Arkham game in the future. Or just
How do
Batman in general. Who knows?
how do you feel about that?
I'm
Getting another
kind of
Arkham game.
worried. I'm a little worried. I know they said that DC was one of their main priorities, but the added colon of Batman, or like DC colon Batman, has me worried because one of the things that you and I have been talking about for years was them potentially kind of veering out, doing more games on heroes that we want to see, like Superman or the Flash or something. I just feel like they're just going to go back to what it was in the 2010s with DC, where it was just like nothing but Batman content over
Yeah,
and just push everything off to the sidelines.
and that was actually what I was going to mention too, is that the 2010s were so Batman heavy that people wanted something else after a while.
Yes.
Now, granted, in video games, we only had 3 games that were Batman centric in the 2010s in terms of like AAA superhero games, and that was the Arkham franchise. Um, People weren't necessarily tired of those, but I mean, we got Injustice, we got Lego Batman, we got mobile games, we got the Arkham series.
Telltale was another one
Oh right, yeah,
that came out.
Telltale.
Yeah.
Batman was everywhere, and then Batman came to Fortnite. Um, Batman's just in everything, and that's great because Marvel and I are. I mean, we love Batman. Like I don't know how else to put it, but they have not given any love to any other superheroes at all.
No.
And like Marvel said, Superman would be great. Maybe Flash, Green Arrow would be cool. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I'm surprised we're even getting a Wonder Woman game still. Because
Yeah.
that's awesome, but I'm just so surprised that we're getting a Wonder Woman game.
Yeah, it's true.
Um, and I hope that marketing for that eventually towards release starts to get better because I don't want them to focus in 2025, shift gears just to Batman stuff, and then be like, oh yeah, and we're releasing this Wonder Woman game that's been in development for like 5 years. But we're releasing a Batman game next year, so buy that instead.
Yeah, it makes me a little worried for like I don't think they're going to cancel the Wonder Woman game.
No, me neither.
They've already dug themselves a hole big enough, and they put a lot of money into that, so they're not going to like, they're not going to be like, oh, we're just going to make that another tax write-off. Like it's just,
No.
and they know it's just like they want to focus on gaming as one of their core money making pursuers in a way. So
Right.
that game's probably still coming out. I feel
For
like
sure.
for marketing, it's probably going to be like maybe closer to. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get anything this year, but maybe like early next or like spring next year, we'll start
What,
seeing like
2025?
2025. Yeah,
Yeah. I would say that probably we'll start seeing stuff then too.
yeah, it's all kind of up in the air, and it hasn't really been particularly well with some of the leaks that have been coming out, where they were in kind of a rut, like as far as development, and they had like 3 other studios having to come in to kind of help them get things back on track. So we'll
Yeah.
see what comes about it with that. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it's still coming out for sure. But like I said, I'm a little worried with how that's been with going. But yeah,
It's just a shame that they're putting their main focus most likely on Batman,
that's true.
when in reality, they're not understanding that if you make a good game, people will buy it,
Yes.
regardless of who is in the game. I mean, there are situations where it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, stuff like that didn't perform well, but it got great reviews. But that was because the track record was bad. People saw Guardians and saw Avengers, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not buying that. But if people see, let's say, Rocksteady solo single player campaign based game with Superman, people are probably going to buy it, and you're probably going to make a lot of money.
That's true.
Like, I just, when it comes time that the fans are more logical than the company releasing what the fans want, it's a problem.
Yeah, and even though they said that they're particularly going to focus on Batman, I have a feeling that because James Gunn wants to do games for his new DC universe, so I'm
Yeah, that's
sure
true.
down the line we're gonna get games based on other heroes. Like we're gonna get a Superman game. We're probably gonna get a game based on another hero or something like that. So it's bound to happen. But
That's true.
the fact that the Zaslav in particular is just like, yeah, let's just do Batman though. It's like it makes me kind of worried. But hopefully WB gets their heads out of their asses and realizes like, hey, maybe live service isn't the way to go about things for, actually making money and having our company survive. So
Yeah, very interesting
yeah,
that this is how it's going down.
that's true.
And the news was kind of out of the blue. I
It
just kind of
did.
like shot out. There was no like lead up to it.
Yeah, I saw this in like the middle of the day in my work shift. I was on one of my breaks and then this popped up on Threads from Arkham Videos on his page, and it was just like, okay, well, that's kind of interesting, but also a little worrying at the same time. But yeah, I get. We'll just have to see how this comes about. I mean, we both already know that another Arkham game is basically confirmed at this point, so
Yeah.
it's only a matter of time before we know what game it actually is. Is it going to be a new installment? Is it going to be like a remake? Because those have been popular as of recently, so it's only a matter of time.
So what's next on the news list of
Um,
things?
well, I thought about talking about Arkham Shadow a little, but we kind of already did that in the beginning.
We did, but it's worth going over maybe just for a second because I feel like now that the game's been out for a few weeks, opinions have set in, and
True.
I've gotten a chance to see more gameplay. Um, so I don't know if you have, but we could just kind of glaze over real quick. We don't have to stay on it too long.
I've seen some stuff. I've not seen too much of it. I've seen spoilers, sadly, which I was
Yeah,
hoping I would have to avoid, but that's just how things are nowadays. So I have seen, the ending and some scenes throughout it, but
yeah,
it's
me
all
too.
in like random pieces. So I'm not sure how it all kind of fits together and whatnot. So
Yeah,
um
I'm in the same boat. I haven't seen anything in like a concrete, structured way. I just have kind of seen like bits and pieces here and there.
yes. So
But I have seen a lot of gameplay of like combat pieces, predator set pieces. Um, I really would like a meta quest so I
me
can
too.
play this game. Like I can't spend the money on it, but if I had the money, I would spend it on it and I
Yeah,
would
like
buy one.
even for like a 4 or 3S
Yeah.
MetaQuest 4, Jesus.
Oh
Um
my God, not
for,
yet.
for a 3S, where I live, it's like $400, which is just it's steep for sure. So it's not something that I'm ready to like commit to right away. Like if it's on sale in like the next month or so, like Black Friday's coming up, and if they were like, hey, would be perfect for the holidays, a new Meta Quest for a very cheap price, and it's just like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, as of right now, it's just like I do not have the money to spend on this, so
Yeah.
I'd rather just wait till the price just goes down. But yeah, from what I'm seeing, it's like for gameplay particularly, it's just like it's really cool. I want to
Yeah.
like put the headset on and experience this for myself.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
so
I'm glad that the expectations were completely um basically obliterated. And they were like, "Yeah, no, we gave you quality." Like we know that I think Camouflage knew that people were on edge about it. Obviously, the backlash initially was pretty bad.
it
Um
was, yeah,
and I know when we reported on it, we were just like, I mean, did we want it? No, but like we're not really that upset because we're still getting an Arkham game.
yeah, that's true.
Um but I mean, I haven't seen any really genuinely bad reviews at all. Uh, I've only
Um,
seen
no,
really good ones or like pretty good ones.
yeah, most of what I've seen is like it's like really good or like great reviews, and then of course there's IGN, which like hates on everything nowadays for whatever reason.
Yeah,
Just like,
giving
oh,
the Penguin a 5
it's
out of 10. You can go blow up your fucking industries, bro.
yeah. So it's shit like that where it's just been kind of rampant with reviews. Like I said, most of it has just been really positive, which I'm glad because, like
Me
you
too.
said, when we reported on this months ago, which Christ, it felt the time has just passed by so fast.
Yeah.
Um, like you and me, when we were talking about when it first got announced, it was like, we were not really, we weren't really happy that it was a VR game, but you and I both were just like, this has potential here. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things they could do, to kind of fit the Arkham gameplay style in a VR setting. And I think I think they really knocked it out of the park. with how they approached it, from what I've seen anyway.
Me too.
Um, yeah, I can't really talk on the narrative just because it's like, it's been a lot of fragmented pieces, mostly like for the end game kind of stuff.
Right.
Um, but I'm excited to see what Camouflage does in the future. Like if they do another VR title, they have a roadmap I guess they said, or like they have a post game plan for their, content. So like more
Mhm.
challenge maps, maybe another story pack would be kind of cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's I mean, I'm excited for more Camouflage Arkham content.
Yeah. Me too. Good job, Camouflage. You
You
knocked it
did
out
it,
of the park.
Camouflage. Fucking nailing it.
So is there anything else that we should talk about, or is
As far as
that the
news,
news?
um, the second part of uh the Suicide Squad season 3 came out. That happened. Nothing
Did
really
it?
happened. No, yeah.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that's right.
I remember just somebody posting the ending, or it might have been just Arkham videos being like, "Hey, I know Arkham Shadow came out, but here's, the Suicide Squad season." And I'm looking at it being like, when do you have the time for this? It's just like
Yeah.
you're too busy playing Arkham Shadow, and then it's just like, yeah, I'll squeeze in a little bit of Suicide Squad. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's not really much to go over with that. It basically amounts to what we've been saying for like the last 2 seasons, which is just like whatever,
Ugh.
man. It's there.
Yeah.
So we'll wait another couple months before we say the same thing again.
Yeah, and, you and I'll do some intensive treatment videos on it at some point when everything's done and we can just play right through it and not wait for anything.
Can you imagine? And this is just a hypothetical, like, crazy scenario. But after the fourth season comes out, they're just like, you know what? Another content cycle for
Oh,
Suicide Squad.
god, no. You know what, though? I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
That's the saddest part. I can't even imagine them doing it, but honestly, I kinda could. Be like, "You know what? Here's some more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sefton Hill's back, yay!"
Yay!
Can you
Make
imagine
Arkham
that?
Asylum remake.
Yeah,
Please.
please. Just give it to us. We need to start a hashtag. We really do, because that
Hash
needs WB needs to see that shit. We need to fucking Zack Snyder's Justice League that shit.
yes, release the Arkham remake.
Yes,
Let's
release the
make that
Asylum
official.
remake.
Yeah, let's make that official, everyone.
Or
Let's
hashtag release Arkham Asylum. Or remake, hashtag remake Arkham Asylum.
hashtag remake the asylum.
And then just at WB, James Gunn, David Zaslav,
Do it.
every variation of WB, like from
Yes.
every country. And Rocksteady,
Yeah.
please. Or Virtuous, whoever,
Do we really want Virtuous though?
Yeah, we do. They did such a great job on the remasters.
Are you sure? I don't. I think you hit your head or something. I don't
Yeah,
think
it
we're limited.
might be that burnt bacon. Who knows? But
We'll talk
all right.
about that next episode on intensive treatment, where we go over Return to Arkham again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be it as far as news. I might like mostly I wanted to talk about the WB stuff because
Yeah.
I just find it particularly interesting that it's just like, yeah, we want to do DC as our main like pyramid team, and it's just like, okay, we'll
Right.
do Batman. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that is going to be it. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of all this news. Are you excited for more Batman games? Have you played
Oh boy.
Shadow? Have you played Suicide Squad? Let us
What is
know.
your favorite Tony Todd role? Let us know.
Yes. Yes. Um, um, Zoom. Okay, and I'm kidding, but yeah, sound off in the comments. We'll respond, debate, all that stuff.
Yeah.
be sure to watch our other ITTV
ITTV.
ITTD. Our other ITTV videos are podcasts, which we've been pumping out recently. I've been
Yeah, and we
super
have
happy
more to
with.
come.
And also our live streams. You can check out our live streams, which we did a 2 for stream, uh, with the last one being uh, Arkham Knight on Switch, and that was an
Oh my
experience.
god.
That was an experience.
Dude, that was like one of the greatest nights of my life. Just seeing that shit happen.
I loved it. But yeah, everyone, we will see you guys for whenever the next news drops for this franchise. But have a great night and stay locked up, everyone.
Bye, guys.